Welcome everybody to Grapple FK. Please like, please subscribe. We are covering UFC Fight Night Chiesa v Magny, which is taking place on Wednesday, Jan the 20th, 5 p.m. GMT. 5 p.m. What's GMT again? I always forget this.
Greenwich Mean Time. How do you not know that?
The reason why I'm confused is why is it on such a good time for us if they're both American? Or they're both based in America?
That's a good point. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Anyway, let's move on. So Chiesa against Magny, both very big. Chiesa 6'1", Magny 6'3". Chiesa's a very good grappler, very good at BJJ. Apparently, he's only a purple belt, Andrew.
Wow.
Yeah. And Magny is a brown belt.
That can't be true.
Yeah, no, seriously, he's a purple belt.
He fucking sucks at grappling.
What? Who? Magny?
Yeah.
Oh, sucks at grappling or specifically BJJ?
Well, he doesn't have any wrestling, so it's BJJ.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Magny, the taller guy, Chiesa's the larger guy, more thick set, I'd say. Magny's got a huge reach advantage. I mean, what Magny does is he pushes the pace normally, unlimited cardio pretty much. He pumps out a lot of output. As Andrew said, he's not really a grappler. I mean, his BJJ, I mean, I saw some bits against Rocco Martin. I've seen some bits against other people. He seems to reverse positions and so on. But, I mean, you know more about BJJ than I do, so I'm going to pass it over to Andrew.
Well, I mean, I wish you wouldn't present me as a BJJ expert.
Andrew is a brown belt.
Yeah, if only. So to me, Neil Magny's grappling is pretty bad. I mean, he was against. I mean, obviously this is a super high level grappler, but in the Damian Maia fight, he was taken down in 10 seconds, and just bum fucked for 15 minutes straight. Against RDA, he had his back taken within the first minute, and he just ground him out for 2-3 minutes before he submitted him with a head and arm triangle choke. Yeah, I know RDA is a good grappler, but he's not elite. I think you should be able to maybe survive a little bit longer. And just numerous other instances where he's just looked very weak. He doesn't look like a physically strong person either. He gets tied up in the clinch. He looks like the weaker person in the clinch, which he shouldn't be, given he's 6'3". So the grappling to me is very poor, and his strong points are when his game is on point, is that striking at distance.
Yeah.
Pumping out the jab, being quite evasive, and just racking up quite a lot of volume. But that striking, I'll be curious on your thoughts about this. It's maybe a little bit inconsistent. So I've seen in some fights, he's very hesitant. For example, in that fight against Anthony Rocco Martin, he's pretty cautious. Then in other fights against Li Jiangling, he puts on a clinic of how to fight at range. So it's a little bit inconsistent.
He's probably scared of the takedown against Rocco Martin.
Yes.
So, yeah, I know what you mean. I think sometimes he doesn't utilize his reach well. Sometimes he kind of gets flustered and doesn't do as well. So, yeah, I agree with that. But, I mean, overall, his striking's pretty good, and he has good cardio, and he just keeps going. I mean, there have been instances where he's been basically fucked up very quickly. But, I mean, even the Damian Maia fight, that was a long time ago, wasn't it?
5 years ago. Yeah.
5 years ago. And when was the RDA fight?
3
because
years
he's on
ago.
he's on a 3-fight win streak, isn't he? Yeah, and before that.
I mean, but the Rocco Martin fight was 6 months ago, 7 months ago.
Yeah, six months ago. Yeah, 7, 8.
Yeah. I've literally just watched that fight and I can't remember much of what happened in it at all. I also watched the Robbie Lawler fight where Magny got 4 takedowns.
Yeah, 4
Um,
takedowns.
it was, I mean, Robbie Lawler's not a grappler.
No.
The grappling there on both sides was messy. Neither guy was really getting the better of the other, even though Magny did get the takedowns, he gets some top control time. But what I took away from that fight was they were in the center of the cage in a clinch kind of position, and Magny just pulls guard. Not with any kind of submission attempt, not with a guillotine attempt. He just pulls guard, falls to the ground, and tries to get his legs round Lawler in the closed guard position.
Yeah.
Which in MMA is probably just one of the most stupid things you could ever do. So what I see there is, obviously he's picked this up in probably gi jiu-jitsu, where that's a very dominant position, and you can do a lot of things like there, like sweeps and attack submissions. In MMA, that's suicide, especially with a guy like Robbie Lawler in your guard who can just hammer fist you into oblivion. So it just seems like he's not quite figured out how to apply jiu-jitsu to MMA.
Yeah.
And maybe he is a legitimate brown belt. I would suggest that he probably isn't. But maybe he is, and he just hasn't quite figured out how to use it.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this before. Barboza is a black belt. He never shows any well, he hardly ever shows BJJ. And there are brown belts that should be black belts. There have been purple belts who have choked out black belts. So it's really, Khabib's a white belt, Khamzat's a blue belt. What does it really mean at the end of the day? Yeah, it's as you said, it's how you apply it to MMA, and certain people can do that, easier than others can. Some people just don't figure it out, as you said. But yeah, and that, having said all of that, so he's got a decent output, and it's positive in terms of differential. Having said all of that, the lack of BJJ and so on the other hand, Chiesa is a very good grappler. His grappling seems to be getting better and better as the fights go on.
He's a monster.
Yeah, he's a big dude, very big dude.
Yeah, like when he gets his hands on you, he's probably going to take you down. And I know his takedown average isn't that high. It's about 51% or something.
You can check that now.
But I think in the more recent fights, when he gets his hands on people, he's got excellent takedowns, just beautiful trips, beautiful, I don't know, just violently getting people to the ground. He's got decent top control, just all around a really, really good wrestler. And he's similar to Colby Covington in that sense. Like he's not a good striker. His striking is not terrible, but is just good enough to disguise those entries for the takedown.
Just doesn't throw as much output as Colby. Colby throws a lot of output, but he's very strong, and he's I'm not sure if you remember this, but he was commentating on the Khabib. No, I can't remember what card it was, but he was commentating out in Abu Dhabi, and DC had a little laugh at Khamzat, and he said, "Khamzat, come and do a face-off with Chiesa." So they did one, and DC recorded it and uploaded it to his Instagram, and he looked, I wouldn't say significantly, but he looked quite a bit bigger than Khamzat.
Oh, really?
Just him out. Yeah, he looked bigger than Khamzat.
Okay.
Yeah, as in terms of how thick he is naturally walking around weight, he's really big.
Yeah. He's got a wide back, I noticed.
Very wide back, yeah.
Yeah.
And his arms are quite big too.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he used to make 155.
Yeah, crazy.
He's 6'1" too.
Yeah, he's a big, big dude. And as you said, he's very strong up against the cage and the clinch. He's very strong. He's manhandle people against the cage.
Yeah.
Just physically a specimen. And I think his grappling is better than his record implies, because he lost by triangle choke to Anthony Pettis. But up until that point, Chiesa were getting the better of Pettis on the ground. But when they're up on the feet, Pettis, I think, knocked him down.
He's got better striking than he has, yeah.
Yeah. And it was the strikes that set up Pettis' submission rather than actual grappling. So, yeah, his grappling is better than the record suggests. I mean, he rear naked choked Benil Dariush, which is a big deal.
Yeah,
Um,
Dariush is more of a striker, though, I would say.
I think he's very well rounded. I think he's got a good ground game.
Yeah, he's a Syrian from Iran, so I'm assuming he's wrestled at some point. I'm not sure about his BJJ.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not too sure about his grappling credentials.
Masvidal's choked out Chiesa, I think, but that was a long time ago. Das choke, 2013.
Yeah, I haven't seen that fight.
Yeah, I'm assuming that yeah, Chiesa got a knock. No. Yeah, Chiesa knocked him down too. That's very odd.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
knew that happened. Yeah,
that is really odd. Um, yeah, I don't really know what happened there, but that was a very, very long time ago. So what else has happened? Kevin Lee's rear naked choked him, and then Pettis too. Kevin Lee knocked him down. So I haven't seen that fight, but I'm assuming maybe it was similar to what Pettis did to him. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Magny's not really a BJJ guy, is he?
no, no.
Yeah, he's probably what choked out maybe one person in the UFC, or he's lost by submission. I don't think he's ever submitted anyone. But let me check.
Yeah. They've got one opponent in common, RDA.
Yeah,
bummed
Chiesa
Magny.
beat him. Yeah,
RDA bummed Magny, and then Chiesa bummed RDA. So MMA math there for you.
yeah. Um, so Magny's choked one guy out who won a few in the UFC, but I mean that doesn't really suggest anything. But yeah, Chiesa's definitely the better grappler, better BJJ guy. Magny's probably the more well-rounded guy because he's got better striking than him. But yeah, it is a tough one. They're both good fighters.
To me, this is pretty clear how this goes. So let's talk about how they're going to interact. So obviously, Magny's game plan will be use his reach, jab his face off, throw the occasional combination, and push the pace.
Yeah.
Right, that's the game plan. Obviously, Michael Chiesa's game plan will probably be to engage a little bit on the feet, but use the strikes to set up the takedown.
Yeah.
Now, when he goes for the takedown, he's probably going to get it. And when he gets a takedown, he's almost certain to keep him there for a prolonged period. And then, of course, he's got the option for submissions, ground and pound, etc., etc. But when he goes to the ground, Chiesa is winning the whole time. And it seems pretty clear to me that Chiesa is probably going to go for the takedown every single round. And Magny's going to get taken down.
Has Chiesa ever been knocked out before?
Not that I'm aware.
No, he's only been submitted. He's never been knocked out.
But Magny's not a KO guy. He doesn't have a whole
He's
load
KO'd
of
a few people. He's KO'd a few people. What have we got here?
Did he KO Hector Lombard? How the fuck did that happen?
He KO'd Craig White via a knee, which is probably the most dangerous thing for Chiesa. Yeah. The knee up the middle. Hector Lombard KO'd some Korean dude. KO'd William Macario. Don't know who that is. KO'd Rodrigo de Lima. But yeah, I mean, overall, most of his fights have been won via decisions. But he has KO'd people.
The thing is, I'll be curious to know if those are KOs or TKOs.
Yeah, probably more TKOs. He throws a lot of volume, doesn't he?
Yeah. If Magny had a huge right hand and could lay people out with one shot, I'd be maybe slightly worried. But he's not the kind of guy who's going to stop Chiesa with one shot.
Unless it's a knee, I think. But that's very rare anyway.
I mean, it could be a knee.
When they go for it. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see Magny giving Chiesa enough problems to stop him from going from the takedown. I mean, if this was a kickboxing match, obviously Magny wins all day.
Magny wins, and that's the thing, right? If he can keep Chiesa at distance with the jab and just tee off on his face, get kicks in there and so on, and maybe hurt him a bit early, then it could turn into an interesting fight. But I suspect what you're saying is probably correct in that if Chiesa can get a hold of him, which he will do at some point, he will drag him down.
Yeah. Or just grind him up against the cage. Yeah. To be honest, I don't see, unless, I mean, there's always like a 1% chance of a flying knee. There's always the chance that, he lands a big shot. But honestly, I don't see how Magny could win this fight.
This is 5 rounds, right? It must be. It's a headliner. Sometimes they don't do 5 rounds, as we've mentioned before. But
yeah. I always forget that these are 5-round fights.
Chiesa's never been 5 rounds.
Okay.
He's been to the 4th round and the 5th round before. I mean, Magny's got very good cardio. Chiesa, it's not bad as well for someone who's so grappling and BJJ heavy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, I've seen Chiesa breathing pretty heavily between rounds.
Yeah, it's his style, right? It takes a lot more out of you when you're trying to get guys down and so on.
Yeah.
From against the cage. Yeah.
So the only thing I'll be worried about here is what happens in the 4th round when Magny is still fresh and Chiesa is maybe slowing down a bit.
Yeah, and Magny's fending off the takedowns. Then that's happening. That's happened in Magny's fights. He comes on really strong during the latter rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
But the Magny would need to win one of the first 3 rounds, plus 4 and 5, in order to win a decision. I'm not sure. I mean, Magny could win a round. But I'm not. Is Magny realistically winning rounds 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah, possibly. I think. Possibly. I think it's hard to say. It's I think more likely 3. I think more likely 3.
If you were to win one of those rounds, you'd have to stuff a takedown, or Chiesa would have to elect to keep it on the feet. Which
is why I'm saying 3, because I think by that time, Chiesa will probably be quite tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so rounds 4 and 5, if Chiesa's tired, Magny will do what Magny does best and just jab his face off and win those 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Or if Chiesa's really exhausted, get the finish.
Yeah. Although he's never been finished in terms of TKOs or KOs, but he's never been to the 5th round. So, I mean, this must be a 5-round fight, I think. Has to be.
Yeah, I mean, it will be. It will be.
Well, just click on matchup preview and see what it says. But yeah, so let's get on to predictions then. What are you thinking?
I'm gonna say Michael Chiesa for sure.
So you're very hot on Chiesa.
I'm sucking Chiesa's cock extremely
He's
hard.
so hot right now.
He's so hot right now. I want his cock in and around my face.
In and around.
The method of victory. How does he normally win? He gets a lot of decisions. Does he get a lot? He
chokes people out.
How many submissions has he got? Can you scroll down a bit?
Yeah, so he got a Kimura against Carlos Condit. He rear naked choked Dariush. He rear naked choked Miller. Unanimous decision Mitch Clark. Unanimous decision Trinaldo. Rear naked choked Smith. Rear naked choked that guy whose name I can't pronounce. Sorry, Anton. And rear naked choked Ally Quintus. Is probably going to be a rear naked choke if he wins.
Yeah, probably a rear naked choke. Yeah. I mean, that's the one against Beneil Dariush was actually a neck crank.
Oh, was it? Have they got that wrong?
Yeah, those are really hard apparently to pull off because it requires an awful lot of force, and he got it very quickly.
So it's the one that Khabib did to Conor, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, given Magny's lack of jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
I could see that happening. I could see a rear naked choke happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's got a lot of them, hasn't he? So
it's kind of his thing.
And he tends to only lose by rear naked choke as well. So, or triangle, which Magny's not going to do.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you got in terms of percentage? How much are you leaning towards?
80%.
Because I was initially thinking that this was a pretty close fight, but you've changed my mind over the course of the video.
Well, so did I. When I first heard of this match, Magny, he's a really good striker.
Yeah.
But with the dynamics, the nuances of this fight, I don't see how he can win. So I'm saying Michael Chiesa 80% of the time wins this.
80%, Christ.
Which is as high as you can really go in an MMA fight.
So this is definitely in the safe come for you.
100%.
Okay. All right. You realize you're not going to look good if Magny wins.
Yeah. Well,
I think Chiesa will win too, but I'm going for 60-40. I think it'll be closer than what you're suggesting.
Yeah.
It's because it's 5 rounds and Magny doesn't really get tired, and
that's the only variable.
Yeah,
the 5 round thing is the only variable I'm worried about.
Right, striking is better too. But
yeah, striking is better. If he was a power puncher, then I'd say Chiesa could have problems, but he's not. So what are you saying?
Yeah, I think I think Chiesa will push him up against the cage, get him down at some point, probably very quickly, and keep on top of him. I mean, from what I've seen of Neil Magny on the floor, on the octagon floor, his BJJ isn't bad in terms of reversing positions and getting back up. His wrestling seems okay-ish.
Who's he reversed?
He reversed. What's his name? Anthony Rocco Martin, and I think Li Jingliang as well, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
He took down Condit 6 times. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think this was after Condit just lost like 10 fights in a row.
And Johnny Hendricks took him down 6 times, and he beat Johnny Hendricks overall because he outstruck him. But yeah, I think it's closer than what you're suggesting, just because he is a pretty good overall fighter. But yeah, I think Chiesa's got this. I think Chiesa will win 60-40. I'll be interested to see what the odds are.
Okay, let me get the odds. Interesting. Okay. Who do you think the favorite is?
Chiesa?
Nope.
Oh, is it Magny?
Yep.
What is he, like -150 or something?
Yep, bingo. -150. Yeah.
Interesting.
So Magny is a -150 favorite, and our boy Chiesa is +120. I think they've got this wrong. I think there's an awful lot of value on Chiesa here.
Yeah, I think Chiesa will win, but for me, this is too close to put in the safe come. Yeah, I'm a bit skeptical about this. By the way, everyone, I've got a new mic, so feel free to compliment me in the comments.
Well, you sound wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why the odds favor Magny. He beat up Lawler, outstruck him by almost a factor of 3, took him down 4 times, even though his BJJ was ropey. But that looked like a dominant win, and I suppose it was a dominant win in a way.
Yeah.
He beat Anthony Rocco Martin. Fair enough. He put on a clinic against Li Jingliang. Yeah, so I can see why the odds makers are pretty high on Magny. I just think this is a bad stylistic matchup for him.
Yeah. Chiesa is, he's a monster.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just the fact that RDA took his back within a minute.
But RDA is a black belt and a former national Brazilian champ in jiu-jitsu. So it's not exactly like he's...
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm doing too hard. He's also
very small. He's very small, like, compared to... He's a lot smaller than Chiesa. So if someone... RDA. Yeah. Someone the size of Chiesa's taking you down, then you've got no chance in getting up if you can't get up against RDA.
Yeah.
RDA's throwing you around, and Chiesa's definitely throwing you around.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just thinking about that fight with Robbie Lawler. And I'll admit, there's a couple of fights that I probably should have seen that may reveal more about his ground game. But that fight with Robbie Lawler with some very, very sloppy jiu-jitsu is fresh in my mind. I mean, just pulling Robbie Lawler into guard in an MMA match, it just makes me look like he just doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, this isn't the Robbie Lawler of old, though. So, but still, I know what you mean. Robbie Lawler's still Robbie Lawler. If he tees off on you, then I mean, look what he did to Askren. He nearly finished him in the first round, in the first minute.
I've got a wonderful video of Ben Askren striking, by the way, that I need to send you. Just wonderful, wonderful stuff.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
I've seen those videos on YouTube. He
yeah,
just does this. He does this. He just chases people around.
Yeah.
Just like fucking falls at their ankles and then eventually takes them down.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't this guy an Olympic wrestler?
Yeah, I think you said this before. It shows you that. I mean, Ben Askren is proof itself that wrestling is the best combat sport to know for MMA.
Yeah, but even his takedowns just lack any.
He's very slow, very slow,
or explosivity. Yeah. So I don't know how this guy did it.
I think he had a few hip. Issues that he had a few surgeries and so on. Maybe that slowed him down. He was probably faster when he was younger during the Olympics. Because I doubt the Americans would send a shit wrestler to the Olympics.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
He must have been good.
World beating in his day.
Yeah.
And in MMA, he was world beating in all the organizations except the UFC.
The one that counts. Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
I think that's it, really.
So, in terms of betting, I'm going to put Chiesa in the safe come.
Okay. I'm going to put Chiesa in the risky come.
Okay.
And look for other fights for the safe come.
Yes.
And anything else?
No. So this is on Wednesday, correct?
This was meant to be Khamzat and Leon, right? Which has now been moved to March.
Okay.
That was the fight that was meant to be the main card, and this fight would have been the co-main.
I
think, yeah.
Okay, I'm just looking at the other fights we got on this card.
Okay.
Tyson Nam versus Matt Schnell. It's not a big fight, but I remember looking into this fight and getting really excited about one of them. I think Matt Schnell winning. Then they cancelled it, so I'll revisit that.
Yeah, Tyson Nam has power, but he's limited in terms of his approach.
I remember you were hot on Tyson Nam, and I was hot on Matt Schnell.
Oh, have we covered this before? Possibly, yeah. Tyson Nam's got a very, very hard right hand. We've got that Tunisian sniper Munir Lazez, the guy who fucked up Al Hassan. He's a
Yeah,
really good kickboxer.
we covered that fight, didn't we? I banged Al Hassan and he got banged.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, that guy is dangerous.
very, very good kickboxer. Roadman Murphy is on this. He's fighting Douglas Silva de Andrade.
Down Josh could fuck him up.
Oh, he's a lot more experienced, isn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't
Excellent
look happy, does
jawline.
Yeah, he does not look happy.
Oh, let's see. Oh Christ, yeah. He looks like a really angry kind of Inca. Like, that jawline is fierce.
We got Tyson Matt Schnell. Yeah, we can look into that. And then we've got
Ricky Simon. I like Ricky Simon.
Simon's on this, and a newcomer by the looks of it.
Ricky Simon is very good. Very aggressive wrestling.
Oh, Tom Breeze is on this as well. First fight.
Yeah, but we can't do too many fights on this card because we've got the big one.
Yeah, we've got the big one.
That's not it.
No,
that's one hell of a name, by the way.
Yeah. Congolese.
Christ. That's a scary looking man.
Let's just call him Dal.
Dal.
Yeah, we've got the big one.
That's
the big one. McGregor's back and talking shit already. Well, some shit, mainly about Khabib. Saw an interview earlier.
McGregor said he's going to bang Poirier within 60 seconds.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Oh, man, I think I believe him. I'm on the contrary. I'm 5 years I'm on the contrary.
That's in and around your mouth, mate. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just in and around. Nah, not 60 seconds. This isn't the Dustin of old. Dustin is a dangerous, dangerous man.
He is. But what worries me about Dustin is that fight against Dan Hooker.
If he fights like that, and he's suggesting that he'll fight like that too, he'll get KO'd very early.
Yeah. I mean, Dan Hooker is good, but he's not an elite striker.
No, he's not.
And Dustin Poirier made that far too difficult. Poirier made that fight far too difficult, in my opinion.
Definitely agree with that. I'm hoping that Matt Brown and his corner are just, American Top Team are saying, say one thing and we'll do another. It must be that. I doubt Matt Brown will say to him, take the center of the octagon and bang it out with McGregor. It's the worst advice ever.
If you're Dustin Poirier, what is your strategy on the feet against McGregor?
That's the thing, right? And we always say this: if you're used to a way of fighting, you can't really do anything. Strategy on the feet against McGregor is stay on the outside, but he can't really do that because he doesn't kick that much. And McGregor's got a longer reach than him. Yeah.
So he's going to have to come into range. If he is fighting from the outside, he has to come into range, and that's when McGregor pops you in the face.
Yeah. So for Dustin, he has to include overall MMA, clinching against the cage, possibly taking him down. Although he doesn't really go for takedowns, he's a BJJ black belt. He really needs to incorporate that stuff because striking with McGregor is going to be very difficult for him, unless he can get McGregor tired in the first and the second via grappling. But he doesn't really grapple that much anymore. Well, he never did. So. Yeah, I wouldn't. I think if he's going to do that, he's getting knocked out early.
Yeah. The thing is, if Poirier can survive the first 2 rounds, McGregor fades.
McGregor will,
Then Poirier probably has the advantage on the feet because McGregor loses his power. He doesn't throw nearly half as much. And then Poirier can win in the 3rd round. He just has to be very cautious in the first 2 rounds. But my money's on McGregor.
Yeah, same here. I've got McGregor like 65-35, 60-40. Yeah, something like that. But we'll be covering this in depth soon, guys. So
McGregor's special, man. He's special.
Yeah, he is. He's just not very good in the ground, and he doesn't really have much cardio.
Yeah.
But apart from that, he is special. Yeah. If he loses this, it's over for him. He has to win this as well, which is good for him in terms of mindset.
Well, if he loses this fight, what does he do? He's probably gonna.
He's done.
Just
He's
take
done.
drugs and kill himself.
No, as in he's done in MMA. That's a
But
possibility too.
He's the kind of guy.
He does a lot of coke, so yeah.
Yeah, he's an all or nothing guy. Like if he loses, I don't think he'll be feeling too good about himself.
If he loses, he's done in MMA. If he loses, that aura of McGregor's completely gone. And I think even the hardcore fans, the masses of casuals that are behind McGregor will just think, well, no, he's just lost too many now.
Yeah.
So
he'll
probably do. Yeah, he'll probably fight like Jake Paul or something. Make 50 million, bang Jake Paul out. Why not?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a must win for him. But yeah, going back to the original fight we were discussing, I've got Chiesa via submission. Third round. But I'm not putting this in the safe come.
I'm going to say Chiesa via submission. I'm going to be really specific. Michael Chiesa via submission in the first round.
Rear naked choke?
Rear naked choke. Yeah, specifically a rear naked choke in the first round. I called it. Yeah.
Fair enough. First round.
First round. And
yeah,
if I'm wrong, then so be it.
You're coughing quite a lot.
COVID.
The Rona.
The Roro.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So we've both got Chiesa. I think safe. I think risky come. Andrew thinks safe come. Stay tuned for more fights, and yeah, we'll be covering loads more. Please like, please subscribe, please leave comments saying we're sexy, whatever you want to do, and we'll get back to your comments. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Bye.